Some few basic things, just setting up a vocal recording. First thing you need to do is, it can really ruin your recording sometimes, is metronome bleed. And maybe some things you just don't think about too much. So you want to do a test recording, make sure you've got the levels the way they want to hear them in their headphones, but do a test recording and play back the recording soloed and just make sure that headphone isn't clicking through. For this, like if you're working on a big production that's going to be like a big massive rock track or EDM track, something like that, then a little bit of bleed isn't going to cause much issues because it's just going to get lost in the mix. But this track is a very soft sort of acoustic singer-songwriter track, and you will end up with metronome bleed on stuff. So actually what I do when I'm recording this kind of dynamic, quiet music is I use a kick instead of a click, and you can see I filtered it. I usually just filter off more than that. So you're just getting the sub of it in the headphones. So it's actually, you can feel the rhythm, you can move along to it much better, but it's not coming out the headphones because it's too low. So with this kind of music, I do usually set that up. Maybe just put in a little bit of that metronome as well, but not too much. I recommend that you actually check what the artist is listening to as well, because they might just go, oh yeah, sounds great. And then you actually have a listen and it's just all over the place, and you can do a much better job for them if you just kind of go back and forth. And it can be a bit difficult when they have their own little mixers. You know, you can get those little personal mixers in some studios when they've got their own control. So they just might whack that click up ridiculously loud and it's just bleeding onto everything. So you have to just double check, do a test recording, make sure it's not bleeding. I'd say worst case scenario, maybe you have some like really quiet drop down sections in a song, or often the last chord of a song that's ringing out. You can just because it's just getting quieter and quieter, the chord, you can start to hear the metronome bleeding through. So if I really need to get into it, I will actually automate the click around the song. So I would just automate the volume of it. Say it dipped down around here, I would just drop it down on that bit on the recording so that it just gets quieter. And it can be quite finicky, but it's worth it because you don't want to have that bleeding through. So we've chosen the microphone. We did a test microphone. We tested the microphones, chose the one that was best for her. We've got her headphone feed where it should be. It's not too loud. The click's not bleeding through too much. Okay, headphones for singers can be quite difficult if they haven't had much experience with them. Like putting two headphones on and talking, it's a strange kind of disorienting kind of thing to do. So actually singing that and getting your pitch, if you haven't got much experience, that can be quite difficult. So if you're having that with a singer, it's worth trying to just take one headphone off and keeping one on and see if they can pitch better and sing along like that. Again, if they're struggling, like you can find some singers, they can have great pitch. They could sing to you in a room right now, their pitch can be great. As soon as they put those headphones on, the track's in their ears, they're in a dead vocal booth. It's actually really difficult to pitch then if you can't hear yourself very clearly. And it's obviously like milliseconds latency between singing and you hear yourself in your headphones. And sometimes even just those milliseconds that are not really noticeable can throw your brain off a little bit. So I do recommend, just if your singer's struggling and saying, oh, I can't pitch things, and just take one headphone off and even cut your available ear, because if you do that right now when you're speaking, you can hear very clearly what's coming out your mouth. So it's a really good way to kind of one headphone on, one off, cup your ear, and you can hear yourself much more clearly. So yeah, with this particular client, she much prefers to have one headphone off. She feels a bit too kind of suffocated with the both headphones on.